Hello indie game fans, here are newly reviewed indie games as well as release date confirmations for some games that I'm very excited about, beginning with Crab God, a side-scrolling strategy game in which you're guiding crabs in their underwater kingdom, protecting the coral reef and the egg of the next crab god at the same time, with a portion of the game's revenue going towards conservation efforts. The Steam Dinos and Robots Festival is live, which means that there are a number of games which either updated or released new demos such as Keyborg, a brutal third-person action roguelike title in which you control clones of yourself which can be cybernetically enhanced with all sorts of weapons and powers which ratchets up the action. This is from Sobaka Studio, creators of Redeemer, so you can see some of that DNA in this game with the level of violence in the animations and looks to be an all-action title. This video is brought to you by Thyria, a dungeon-crawling RPG in which you delve into the minds of cursed villagers to help them vanquish their nightmares. It has an interesting mix of real-time action in the overworld combined with turn-based RPG combat, where the latter is of particular interest to me. You're able to summon guardians to do battle for you, of which there will be 14 to unlock, including a sick-looking witch doctor character, as well as pyromancer, charlatan and more, with atypical enemy designs as well. Central to all of this is the laboratory, in which you can merge soul gems to summon new guardians and have to think strategy in terms of party composition, formation as well as skill combinations. The game is out now on Steam, so try the demo via the link in the description below and buy the game if you like what you played. If you're familiar with Pokemon-like games, I'm sure that you will recognize the creatures on display here, in which I did mention Temtem Swarm in my weekly newsletter. Sign up below if you're not subscribed, and commented there that it's strange how even a company like Crema, with the massive success of Temtem, somehow still ended up with a Vampire Survivors clone. Sure, there are some new ideas here like 3-player co-op and actually having to time your attacks and abilities so that they synergize, as well as evolution and catching Tems, but again, it's a derivative, but I suppose the success of titles like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor has shown that there's still an appetite for games like this. This next title is almost funded on Kickstarter, so head on over to check out the campaign, in which Super Camber, the never-before-seen hero, banana emoji, is a very strange and interesting game with a ton of variety that mixes genres from turn-based JRPG, beat-em-up, to the action platformer, shoot-em-up and more. So if you love weird games, then this is the title for you. Oh, and if you were wondering, Super Camber apparently translates to Super Banana, hence the designs of the character, with this coming to NES and Dreamcast as well, so you can see the inspiration. Our first major release date confirmation is Another Crab's Treasure, a colourful underwater Souls-like title that has you playing as a hermit crab who is on a quest to buy back his shell, which has been repossessed. The variety of underwater creatures to battle, from giant crabs to mantis shrimp, would be the highlight, with the variety of different shells that he can wear having different effects, and is a Souls-like title that I'm looking forward to and will be out next month. This next title is already fully funded on Kickstarter, with the visuals of Daemon Sigil certainly helping it stand out, evoking the original Game Boy with the shades of green. Most interestingly, this is a narrative title with choices to make, but has card-based creature battler combat, so it's a card game first, but does seem to have plenty of mechanics and systems to wrap your head around. The developer does talk about a roguelite style upgrade system with randomized upgrades to choose from, in which you're exploring the world map node by node, but every node that you explore takes time 1 unit forward, which eventually triggers an eldritch invasion of the world. According to them, the game is set to launch in early access on Steam in 2024, with the bulk of the work already being done, with the Kickstarter funds primarily used for porting and additional content, and is one that I'll be keeping an eye on. We also got a release date confirmation for #Blood, the gorgeous hand-drawn action-adventure game with an art style that looks like a Cartoon Network show, with this story trailer being excellent, so enjoy.
Tonight, we bring you the captivating story of the town of Carpentersville, a seemingly placid place plagued by a series of inexplicable events and loved ones gone missing. But for newcomers Becky Brewster and her father David, the town offers a fresh start at a new school and a job at the headquarters of tech giant Perch. As the Brewsters settle into their new lives, the ordinary collides with the paranormal, and Becky is thrust into an underworld of darkness, awakening a primeval menace and a calling she was born for. Vampire hunting.
Yeah!
It's a tale that unfolds on phones, in dungeons, at the mall, a taqueria, and the business end of a hockey stick named Brenda. An ancient corruption is seeping through the very foundations of society. Dark influences permeating the internet, aided by her motley crew of friends and the high school... The high school janitor? Really? Becky brings the fight to evil. But who's behind it all? Can Becky stop them? Will she solve the riddles hidden within that strange cookbook? What is the Mega Multiverse? And who's driving this bus anyway? It's a race against time and technology, with the fate of Carpentersville hanging in the balance.
We don't know where he came from. But I'll tell you, he built our village into a city. He's the one who trained our army, who grew us into an empire. I don't know where he's from. But if you think you can stop him, you're already dead.
Holy The announcement and early success of this game is really quite impressive, since Kingmakers was announced just a couple of days ago and already shot up the charts to become one of the top 100 most wishlisted games on Steam, and is on track to have one of the biggest launches of the year. This is an action strategy sandbox title which is set in a medieval world, but you have access to modern weaponry like assault rifles, grenade launchers, sniper rifles, trucks, helicopters, airstrikes, and more. This looks like those battle simulator games which allow you to pit massive armies against each other, such as 100 US Marines versus 7,000 Roman legionnaires, or 500 Vikings versus 50 elephants, and so on, but puts you in the boots of an overpowered soldier and thus asks the question, how many swordsmen can you take out with an AK-47? There's some time travelling shenanigans since you go back 500 years in the past in order to alter history and to save mankind, so narratively it has an intriguing premise, and most interestingly comes to us from the developer of the Road Rash-like Road Redemption, which is a very different kind of game, with this looking to be a 2024 release and looks like a hit. This next title was announced a little too late to make it onto my list of upcoming 2D and 3D platformers, but Rolling Rascals' Kickstarter campaign is about to conclude, and it has already been stupidly successful, raising more than 3 times its target to the tune of $160,000 US. If you couldn't already tell, this is a gotta go fast type of 3D platformer that has to be inspired by the Sonic games, in which you're using speed and momentum to take on the loops and turns in fantastical levels. There is a die-hard community of 3D Sonic game fans, even though consensus seem to imply that the 2D games are where they're at, so I guess this game is for them, with this looking to be very impressive, so check out the stretch goals and rewards. Again, shout out to the guy who said random Metroidvania and let me name a more iconic combination, since we are of course looking at Bo Path of the Teal Lotus, a hand-drawn title in which you play as a fox spirit in the world of Japanese folklore. I have gotten hands-on with this game and it seems to be a mix of Hollow Knight and Ori, and it's an absolutely gorgeous game, so look out for this in July. If you love the genre, then you have to watch this video on 50 upcoming Metroidvanias of the year.